So as somebody who runs a 60+ active client marketing agency, trust me when I say that this is the easiest, no BS way to actually start your agency today. So I'm gonna be giving you 6 step-by-step things that you can do today to get started. And if you watch until the end, I'm gonna be giving you a 100% free onboarding process that we actually use in our own marketing agency, which will help you onboard the new clients that you get. So the first thing that I recommend you do when starting your agency is either get a team in place or learn the service to be able to offer it yourself. Depending on your goals, depending on the lifestyle that you want to lead, first of all, you need to make a decision. Do you want to automate your business and have a team in place to do the work on your behalf so you can focus on growing the business? Or B, do you prefer to actually be a freelancer and actually offer the service directly to your clients? Personally, especially as a beginner, I always recommend that you go with option A and build a team out of the gate. Not only is this going to buy you back time so you can focus on acquiring customers, it's also going to ensure that they get the best possible service. Because think about it, if you're a beginner and you get a client, you may not get them the best results if you're not that experienced. Whereas if you hire a white label agency, a freelancer or a contractor to come in and do that work on behalf of your agency, they're going to have a higher level of education, understanding and knowledge around the service delivery, which actually will probably improve the retention and ensure you earn more money and revenue in your business over the long term. And as some tactical advice for you on that, you've got 2 options really. Number 1, you can go to upwork.com, create a client account and post a job out there looking for freelancers for the service that you want to offer, be that Facebook ads, TikTok ads or social media management. If you put a post out there, you'll get dozens and dozens of applications of contractors and freelancers who would be willing to work on your behalf at your agency. And the second tactical option for you is actually to work with our white label service here at Your Marketing Partners. If you go to www.yourmarketingpartners.com, there'll be a ton of information on the services that we can offer and actually help you in your agency with. So the second thing that you want to do is build a DIY portfolio. Now I'm huge on this, especially if you're just getting started. You know, think about it. If you're speaking to a potential client and they ask you to see results or examples of work and you have nothing to show them, obviously that's going to have a huge negative impact on your closing percentage. So what I recommend you do, even with no experience, is build what I call a DIY portfolio. Now essentially what this is where you go to Canva, you can see a ton of different reporting templates, portfolio templates, and you can actually upload your own work into those PDFs. Now you may be thinking, Brad, but if I don't actually have experience, how can I do that? So the first thing you can do, even if you're planning to offer paid ads or social management services, is go and create a handful of different social media pages, create some content, write some captions, and screen grab all of that work and upload it onto that PDF portfolio. You can then use all of this on your website, on your freelance profiles, and it's gonna showcase the work that you can do. Now, you're not gonna sit there and claim that this is work that you've used for clients before. You're simply gonna state that here is examples of the work that I can produce. By doing this, even with no prior experience, it's gonna give you a leg up on your competition and the other beginners that have nothing to show at all. And another thing you can do on here, especially around the paid ad space, is you can actually leverage case studies and results of contractors that you're planning to use. Now, obviously for ethical reasons, you've got to make sure if you're leveraging results and screenshots in accounts of contractors and freelancers that you're actually going to use them to fulfill the work. Providing you're actually using that contractor or that white label agency to actually represent your agency and they're the people doing the work, there's nothing wrong from using their results and their screenshots as examples of what you're going to be able to produce for them. So once you've got that in place, the third thing that you want to actually do is start your outreach. And I highly recommend for beginners that you focus on warm outreach methods. My platform of choice is always going to be upwork.com. I'm biased, it's where I got my start. But if you focus on warm outreach methods rather than things like cold email, places like upwork.com have thousands of leads every single day. You know, businesses are on there posting, actively looking for contractors, freelancers, agencies to provide Facebook advertising services for them, TikTok ad services, Google ad services, social media management services, whatever it may be. So obviously, go out there, create your account, create your profile, upload that DIY portfolio on there and start applying to jobs. And this is the key thing. This is one of the best pieces of advice I ever got from a mentor of mine in the very beginning of my journey, was to basically get rid of 90% of the other stuff and put 90% of your energy and focus on your outreach. Because think about it, that's gonna be what's gonna move the needle. If you spend 90% of your day reaching out to businesses on these platforms, responding, booking in meetings, and focusing on client acquisition, that's essentially how you're gonna fast track your chances of getting that first or your next client. So step 4, you've started your outreach, you've reached out to businesses, and hopefully you're starting to get some responses. What's up next is you want to actually book in discovery calls. And I think in general, a lot of people are worried about the word sales and their mind immediately goes to sleazy snake oil salesman. I actually want you to reframe sales for a second. And this is why I prefer the word discovery call to sales call, because ultimately what you want to do on this call that you book in is discover if you can actually help that business and if you're actually able to work together. So the first thing you want to do is book in a call, and I recommend you do this before every discovery call you have, at least for the first 6 months in your business, is I want you to almost create like an A4 page worth of notes of questions that you're going to ask. Because ultimately the keyword here is discover, right? So you want to lead the call with a bunch of questions on, have they ever run ads before? What's their ad budget? Finding out about the business, how long they've been in business, what's their best sellers? Have they got somebody else manage it currently? How are they doing it? All of the above. You want to find out as much information and gather as much information as possible about that business, because by doing that and getting the full picture, you're going to be able to put an idea together pretty quickly on whether you can actually help them and fulfill exactly what they're looking for. And what's actually really interesting about sales is that 90% of that sales call should be you listening and actively listening to their responses. Because if you do not know their pain points, what they're struggling with, and what exactly they're looking for, how on earth can you sell them? It's that whole Jordan Belfort thing, right? The answer to can you sell me this pen is, well, first of all, are you in the market for a pen? You can't sell somebody social media marketing services or paid ad services if they're not even interested in that. 90% of the call, you want to be focusing on building rapport and asking good questions. If you focus on that and towards the end of the call you get some kind of commitment, be that another call booked in or an invoice sent or added into their ad account to do an audit. If you follow those 3 simple steps, rapport, ask questions and actively listen, and get a commitment at the end, you are 99.9% the way there to having a successful discovery call process. So number 5, you really want to focus on relationships and rapport. Just a quick backstory, at this point now I'm super grateful. We're in a position where we've got, a team of 15, we've got 60 plus active clients. We generate and spend millions of dollars every single year on paid ads for our clients, which is amazing, but it's not always been that way. I was in a position 5 years, 6 years ago where I had no proof of results. I was just starting my business. It felt like an uphill battle. But the whole reason I got my first client, like the only reason, I didn't use any of these techniques I'm telling you today. The only thing that I did is I built a really great level of rapport with my prospect. My first ever client was called Dom. He had a dental practice coaching business. And when I first jumped on a call with Dom, I had no idea on sales or what a discovery call was or this DIY portfolio stuff. I just built a relationship with him. I found out on a personal level about his kids, how long he's been in business, about his wife, what his interests were, where he lived, where he likes to travel, all of this stuff. And actually, for the most part, I would say probably 70% of the call was more personal than it was business. Come the end of the call, the guy straight up said to me saying, look, I know you don't have a bunch of experience. I know you don't have X, Y, and Z, but just based off of the rapport that we had and the relationship that we built, he believed in me and trusted in me to give me that opportunity, to give me that job. And he basically said to me that he could tell just from my passion and my genuine interest in his business and what he was doing that I would make this a success. And me and Dom ended up working together for years and years after first onboarding him. And that all came from the rapport that we built on that very first call. I think my very first discovery call was anywhere from like 1 to 2 hours long. It was super long. Most discovery calls will be 30 minutes to an hour for the most part. The key thing here is where you might not win on experience and authority and proof of results and businesses you've worked with, what you can win on is the passion that you show, the questions that you ask, and the rapport that you actually build with the business owner on the other end of the phone. And the 6th thing, if you get a commitment, the prospect is happy to move forward, the next thing that you want to do is onboard that client. So I'm going to pop it up on screen now. Here's an example of our simple onboarding form that we use till this day in our agency. It's super simple. It's got a ton of different questions on there, really finding out a ton of information about the business and their customers that allows us to have a full picture going into the working relationship. If you click the link in the description, this can be yours 100% free of charge. Unfortunately, you can't make a copy, but you'll see the template there, and all you need to do is go to Google Forms and just in 5 minutes copy and paste all of the questions over into your own Google form so you can have this to use yourself. But there you have it. If you follow this very simple 6-step process, you can have your agency up and running within the next few weeks. Finally, if you are looking to build your team in your marketing agency, you can check out the link in the description to yourmarketingpartners.com, which is actually our white label fulfillment service, where essentially we do all of the service delivery, the communication, the calls with clients, so you can actually focus on acquisition. So if you're interested in seeing more information about that, check out the link in the description. You can also find my links to all my coaching and programs and stuff down there too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.